1. Hello there, folks. Welcome back to SpeedCon 2020 Online. My name is TinyTim78, and I will be your host for the next run. We've got something special for you here now. We've got a fantastic game, fantastic runner. I'll turn it over right now and we'll get started. We're going to have Pokemon Red with Conception. Take it away.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, as mentioned, my name's Conception too. Thanks, Tiny Tim, for that awesome introduction. We're going to be playing Red version Pokemon, and we're going to be doing it any percent glitchless style. So we got a nice lengthy run here, but we're going to have a really good time. First, we do some options here, and I know Tim just closed the incentive for our rival, which is going to be Mr. Tiger, I believe.
That's correct, yeah.
So we will get started. Awesome. We're just going to jump right into it. So timer can start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you so much. Yeah, obviously not too much here, just clearing the text boxes as fast as we can. We're going to name ourselves a 1 character name, just because that's going to be important for RNG manipulations as well as frames saved. And we're going to give ourselves the proper nickname. This is a particularly long one to type, unfortunately, but we're gonna get there. There's G. I never have to type in stuff, so I'm not used to doing it. There we go. Mr. Tiger. And don't worry, you'll get to see Mr. Tiger plenty in this run. So you definitely got your money's worth if you donated to Mr. Tiger. Right off the bat, we're gonna hit our PC here. We got a spare potion here, and that is purely because there's about a 10% chance that we can die to our first rival fight here, and we do need the experience. Like I said, 10% chance, very low, so we probably won't die, but it can't hurt to have an extra potion later anyway if we don't die. So it doesn't really hurt to take a few extra seconds in order to go and grab that. As we're getting escorted by Oak here, a few things just at the beginning. We're going to pick Squirtle, just the fastest option for us, especially to get past our first gym leader, Brock. It learns a water move the fastest, which is going to be super effective against the rock types, of course. We are going to nickname Squirtle a one character name as well. As I mentioned before, same thing here. It is important in terms of executing an RNG manipulation later, but also in first generation Pokemon games like they are here. As you can see, the text is scrolling on the screen, and it actually is 1 frame per letter. So if we, going from Squirtle to A, for example, is going to save us SQUIRTLE, like 6 frames for every time Squirtle would pop up on the screen. Instead, we have A. So it also saves frames to do it that way. All right, this fight is very simple. We tail whip once in order to try to get a little bit of a leg up, and then we just tackle until we win. The only annoying thing is that this Bulbasaur knows Growl, which lowers our attack, so it can make this fight very long, or it can go very shortly if we just get lucky and don't get a lot of growls. So really, we'd want to see Bulbasaur tackle as much as we can. We did get 2 growls in a row there, so that's pretty unlucky. 3 growls in a row. Growl also is not a 100% accurate move, so it could just miss. We're not getting that lucky though. And then yeah, it's just tackle until we win. Crit is good there. That any time we have a critical hit, it ignores any status or buffs to our stats. So it ignores the fact that we've been growled 3 times, therefore our attack has been lowered by 3, and makes it so it does some extra damage. And we get out there. Not too shabby. We'll take it. All right. So there's not really anything on Route 1 worth noting. The only thing that we're going to do is we're going to be defeating 1 encounter. Ideally, it'll be a Rattata at level 2 or 3. So this could be 1 right away. Yep, we're going to fight this. And then we're just going to be running from everything else. So all we have to do is get up this route, go to the Pokebart, get Oak's parcel, come back down, deliver it to Oak. Then we head back up Route 1 in order to progress on with the story. So while we're doing that, well, we'll get through into the parcel at the very least, and then I'll explain a very crucial part that's coming up shortly, because I'm going to need some focus to make sure I'm doing the inputs correctly. But this is just the quickest path that we can to get through. Luckily, we only had the one encounter going up, which is pretty good, so we'll take that. Head right up into the mart here. So as we're getting Oak's parcel here, I'm going to explain a little bit about what we're going to be doing pretty shortly. So we're going to head back, like I said, head back to Oak's to return the parcel, and head back up this same route to progress the story. At that point, we're going to come back to that same mart. We're going to buy some Pokeballs, and then we're going to be performing the first of a few RNG manipulations in the run. The first one we're going to be doing is we're going to be manipulating the RNG in order to catch a Nidoran male to be specific. The main Pokemon that we're going to be running exclusively throughout the run is actually Nidoking. But we have to get through Brock first and get our Nidoran a little bit experience. So we're going to manipulate the grass to not only give us a Nidoran, so we don't have to, continuously go through fodder of other possible options. We're going to be manipulating a very specific Nidoran that has basically god level stats, like almost maxed out of everything, pretty much as good as we can get. And that is very crucial for the routing in the run, because the routing is very precise in terms of our stats. So we have to make sure we get a very specific Nidoran in order for the fastest possible route to be usable. The way we do RNG manipulation is I'm going to be walking to a very specific tile. I'm going to save the game, and then I'm going to immediately reset the game. Then during the load up screens, I'm going to be holding specific inputs. And when I get into the game, from that point forward, I'm going to walk a very specific path, and I'm actually going to be pressing A on specific squares in order to properly progress the RNG to the point that I need it to be. What pressing A on squares does is it kind of lags the screen for just a frame or two, because it's checking to see if there are hidden items in the square that you've just selected, which there aren't, obviously, but it is just a way to progress the RNG to the proper rate. All right, so 4 Pokeballs here. Luckily, we got pretty good RNG in terms of not getting a lot of encounters, which is great. All right, the last little bit that control me here is that NPC, which he did. So we actually have to take a unoptimal route here. Oops, actually, I forgot to do an item switch, so I actually have to load back the game regularly here. 1 second. Just gonna load up the game. In order to, we also manipulate the Nidoran to get into the ball on the first tile as well. Oops. But it's important that our Pokeballs are in the first slot for that. So I'm gonna resave here just to be safe. All right, here we are. So I'm gonna focus on this manipulation for a second. All right, perfect. We're gonna nickname our Nidoran at 1 character name as well, just for speed, and then we can move on.
Very nice. Do we have time for a quick donation?
Oh, this is a perfect time. Go for it.
Okay, we've received 15 euros from the previous host, Zet. Good luck, Conception, on the run. I'm having a caffeine overdose right now, so I'll keep awake and watch SpeedCon while eating my leftover pizza piece. Thanks, SpeedCon, for having me as a host, and thanks to all the runners and donors raising funds for our beloved on-site location. Also, kill the animals. Well, thank you so much indeed, Zet. It was an absolute pleasure, and hope you stick around and enjoy the run. Thank you so much for your generous donation.
Of course, and enjoy your pizza too. You've earned it. Okay, so we are in Viridian Forest now, and I'm taking a very specific path to not only avoid trainers, but you might notice in the screen there are a specific tile sequence that has a little flower in the top right corner. And if you walk on those tiles, they actually have a 1/3 of the chance to get an encounter as a normal tile would. So I'm actually not doing a manipulation here. I'm just walking on specific tiles to hopefully not hit any encounters. We still have a chance to. So you can hit an encounter, 2 encounters. I've hit as many as 3 or 4 if I've gotten really unlucky. And then this is the only trainer we fight before Brock to get the experience we need to get Squirtle to learn Bubble, because Squirtle will learn Bubble at level 8. We Tail Whip the Weedle 2 times in order to lower its defense a bit, and then if all goes according to plan, we only need 4 tackles in order to kill it. Now, as you can see, it can spam Poison Sting here, which we can get poisoned, which is why we picked up an antidote on the way. Looks like we're getting pretty bad luck in terms of our RNG rolls for damage, so we're probably gonna have to 5-shot. Yep, looks that way. Luckily, our health was pretty high and we didn't get overly done in by Poison Sting, so we didn't have to heal during the fight, so it's not a huge deal. But now we are level 8 and we have Bubble, so we are ready to take on Brock. Alright. So we're gonna swap Nidoran to the front. We're gonna heal our good boy Squirtle, and then we're going to give him the antidote as well. And we are now good to go. Hopefully no encounters. Nice. So not a terrible forest, all things considered. Right before we go to Brock, we're actually going to stop in the Pewter City Mart here, and we're going to grab 8 potions just to make our beginning game a little bit easier without having to stop in quite so many Pokemon centers. And you might be wondering, okay, so we trained Squirtle up to level 8 to have it learn Bubble, right? So we're going to use Squirtle the whole time. And you're partially right, but you all might also be wondering, why did I just put Nidoran out front? And we're going to be doing the age-old tactic of level swapping, basically. So what we're going to do is we put Nidoran out front, we're going to swap to Squirtle right away, and that just is going to give Nidoran some experience. We're going to save for Brock here just in case. If our Squirtle has bad special, there's a good shot that we could die. But if our Squirtle special is decent enough, we should be pretty safe. But otherwise, there's not really much going on with Brock. He has a Geodude and an Onix. We are going to keep throwing Nidoran out front and then immediately swapping to our Squirtle. Defense curl is actually really good. So you might be wondering, all right, defense curl, so it raised its defense. That's obviously bad for us. Defense only protects against physical attacks. And because I'm using Bubble, that is actually a special attack. So defense curl does not do anything to benefit Geodude in terms of defending against my Bubble attack. Same thing, we're gonna swap Nidoran out front. We actually do have bad special here, so I'm glad I saved. And then we just gotta, but we didn't get hit by the Geodude at all, which is nice. That's bad. It could be bad. Let's see. Yep, it's a reset. I believe you just wanted to make sure. You gotta see the 0 first, or else you never know. Yeah, because there was a chance. So if you're not familiar with Pokemon, what Bide does, Bide is a multi-turn move that basically absorbs the energy from the Pokemon getting hit and then will return it back to you. It can last 2 or 3 turns. The only hope I had in succeeding there was that Bide was going to last 3 turns. Because my special was bad, it would take him 3 bubbles to kill Onix. Unfortunately, we got the 2-turn one. He returned the bubble back to me and we died. Just kind of unfortunate. It's kind of the downside of having bad special here, unfortunately. Luckily, we're getting pretty lucky again with the defense curls here. Wow, interesting. We got usually you're good for at least like 1 or 2 Geodude tackles. It's very unusual to not get any. Kind of surprising, to be honest. All right, let's try this again. All right, so if Onyx does bide on the first turn, that's actually better for us. Ugh, are we gonna get locked into the same thing? Okay, good, we didn't. So we should be fine now. If Onyx had done bide on the first turn, the turn that we swapped, then we actually would just tail whip until he was done with bide and then start bubbling. So we wouldn't have to worry about it. But we're good now, we finally got past it. So right out the gate, RNG has not been our friend, but that's okay. Because we're still having a good time. It's still Pokemon, so it's still fun, you know? All right, we got there. I forgot to mention as well, I'm going to be donating $5 for every death that I occur, so that's $5 off the bat. 5 euros, I guess I should say. So we got five euros off the bat there. So at least my suffering is going towards a good cause.
I think I'll chip in and say that I'll do the same on that. So 5 euros per death. So let's hopefully not have too much death, but a little bit of death is good for charity.
Exactly. If I'm gonna suffer, at least better be for a good reason, right? I did forget to do one menu change here, and I always forget to do it in marathons. I always kick myself for this. So we go into our settings after that fight, and we change the battle style from shift to set, which, as you'll see, as you saw during the Brock fight, after every time you defeat a Pokemon, it asks you, would you like to switch Pokemon? We can actually turn that option off, which we would want to do here now, because Nidoran is going to be in the front for basically the whole rest of the game. I forgot to turn it off, so we're gonna during this first trainer here, we're gonna have to endure it, unfortunately. So we just have some extra text boxes that are slow, but not the end of the world. We have to take a potion after this trainer anyway, so we're not gonna waste a menu. We're just gonna be wasting time with these text boxes, but not the end of the world. We're gonna have to horn attack that. Our hope there was that we did enough damage to the Weedle so that we could use Tackle instead of Horn Attack. We're trying to save as many Horn Attacks as we can. Horn Attack is a very good move for Nidoran. As I mentioned, the Nidoran that we RNG manipulated here it has god level stats, so everything that it has, it's pretty much maxed out in, including its attack power. Horn Attack is a physical attack, so it uses the attack stat. And because our attack stat is so high, it just does a lot of damage. Plus, it's a higher power move, so. Alright, we got through it. Alright, we're gonna potion here, and now I'll remember to turn off the options. There we go. Alright, so we call this guy Shorts Kid because he says, I like shorts, they're easy to wear and fun or whatever. I agree, I'm wearing shorts, so I kind of agree, but he is a very annoying thorn in my side, unfortunately. This Rattata is pretty high in attack as well and does a good chunk of damage to us, so it can make things confusing from the get-go. And then the second Pokemon it throws out is a Ekans, which can also be very annoying because it has a move called Wrap. And how Wrap works in Gen 1, and they change it in later gens, is it completely incapacitates you until the move is done, and the move lasts anywhere between 2 and 5 turns. So if the Ekans chooses to use Wrap, I could be just, out of commission for up to 5 turns. We'll see how many turns I'm out of commission for. At least 3, and I'm gonna have to heal here, actually. Yeah. Yeah, it's continued anyway. Of course, we're getting the max. Actually, that was 4 turns, so not quite the max, but pretty close to the max. And then it can use it again! So great! Alright, so we got a 4-turn wrap and a 2-turn wrap. That's the worst RNG I could have possibly gotten, pretty much. So we're getting a treat. We're getting a treat here for SpeedCon. This next bug catcher is pretty uneventful. It's got a Weedle, a Kakuna, a Caterpie, and a Metapod. Kakuna and Metapod, all they know is Harden, so it's not like it's super eventful. We're gonna hope that we can kill the Weedle and the Caterpie with Horn Attack and a Tackle each, which we can for Weedle. We'll see what kind of range we get for Caterpie. And then we just basically want to make sure, if we can, that we're not going to be outspeeded, because both Weedle and Caterpie can use String Shot, which lowers our speed. And if we're slower than Kakuna or Metapod, then they will get a Harden off first. Obviously, Harden increases their defense, so if they get to Harden before we get to attack, it's going to make the fights much slower. Luckily, I don't think we got it at all from Weedle, and we'll see if we get it from Caterpie as well. Nope. I don't think I can tackle it, though, unfortunately. I might have been able to, actually, but it's okay. Played a little safe in terms of the range. Yeah, no speed falling at all, so we're in good shape.
Do we have a second?
We can actually tackle.
So, do we have a second to talk about what we're raising money for?
Oh yes, please. Let's let everybody know in case they they're tuning in for the first time or.
Okay, well, as I say, you're watching SpeedConline 2020, and all your donations are going towards supporting the Freiland Potsdam, which is a event location in Germany, home to many organizations, clubs, and gatherings. And because all the previous on-site SpeedCon events have taken place at the Freiland Potsdam, unfortunately, because of COVID, they are struggling quite a bit. So we really want to help support them so that they can remain as our event location. So we are raising funds for them. All of your donations are very, very much appreciated. Thank you very much indeed.
Yes, the money is very, it's going obviously to a very good cause. So continue to get that money in. Yeah, I'm just happy to be a part of it. So thank you guys for having me again. One interesting thing did just happen. So I missed on my first attack against that Caterpie, which is very interesting because Horn Attack is a 100% accurate move, and it should not miss unless my accuracy has been lowered for some reason. It has not, but Generation 1 Pokemon games, for some reason, have something we like to call in the community a Gen 1 miss, and that is, for whatever reason, there is a 1 in 256 chance that you will miss even if your move is 100% accurate. For no reason, you just will. And we just got one, so we're getting to see all of the rare stuff, which is great. Alright, so we go into this grass on purpose here, and we catch a flying Pokemon. We do it in this grass specifically because we have a 95% chance of getting a wild encounter for a flying Pokemon. The other 5% is a Jigglypuff. So luckily we got a Spearow, and that'll be useful later when we need to fly, obviously. Alright, so we're in here. I actually have a very crucial RNG manipulation coming up, and I'm actually going to focus on that, and then I'll kind of explain what I'm doing afterwards. Oh darn! I was off by a tile, I think. So that might have looked a little bit suspicious, because I didn't use a repel or anything, but I was not encountering any Pokemon at all, and that was because I was doing an RNG manipulation. that is very long and very complex, and I actually lost it there about halfway through. So there was still another half to go, believe it or not. But yeah, we actually make it so we encounter, if done successfully, from the beginning of Mount Moon all the way till our first unavoidable trainer, we make it so we do not encounter any Pokemon, if done successfully, except one Pokemon that we need, which is Paris. Luckily enough for us, we actually have a backup here that I'm going to do. So hopefully I'll be able to do this one successfully. I'm going to focus on it as well. All right, successful. So we got the backup successfully, which is very good. Okay, we're gonna save here. This is utterly for safety because this next trainer just gets us, can mess us up a little bit if we get really unlucky. I manipulated, obviously no encounters from that second time I reset all the way to there until I got the Paris. The reason why we need a Paris is because it is a Pokemon that can learn Cut and Dig simultaneously. So that's very useful for us when we go forward here. This trainer is dangerous a little bit, so it has a Rattata and a Zubat that can kind of mess us up a little. Rattata kind of hit us a little harder than I would have liked, unfortunately. So we'll see what the Zubat gives us. Don't love that. We might die here. Let's see. Hit through. Yes. Okay. I took a gamble there. I had decided to gamble because I saved. But I was, as you can see, I was confused. When you're in the confused state, it is a coin flip as to whether you're going to hit the enemy or yourself. Luckily, I passed the coin flip twice and hit him both times, so that worked out in our favor. If I not saved there, I would have done some kind of swap out method or something like that in order to make it a little bit more safe. All right. So we're going to go into an extended menu here, and you're going to see the beginnings of exactly why we use Nidoking in this fight. It is because we get Nidoking right here. We're going to have Nidoking at the end of this menu. So we get a fully evolved Pokemon so early into the game, which is obviously very useful for us. And the next reason why is its moveset. We're teaching Water Gun here to our Nidorino, which seems weird, but it can learn it, so... Then we're going to use the Moonstone and evolve it. So now we got our Nidoking. I'm actually going to toss this Pokeball we have at the top. I always buy one extra in marathons just in case we fail one of the Manips. And Mega Punch, which I guess that kind of makes sense for a Nidoking. He's got a big fist, so Mega Punch kind of makes sense. Alright, so we're going to fight the Super Nerd, and we get to see our Nidoking for the first time, which is obviously exciting. Of course, so... That was not a Gen 1 miss. Mega Punch is not a 100% accurate move. It's about 85% accurate, which in the world of Pokemon means that it'll hit half the time or less. There you go, see? And we're probably going to get it disabled right now, of course. I cannot tell you how unlucky we're getting right now. Which it's funny at this point how unlucky we're getting. Yeah, yeah, so our Mega Punch is disabled, which is the move we use exclusively for this fight, so I have to wait until it's not disabled anymore. I'm going to continuously spam Water Gun, I guess. We don't have any more Horn attacks, so I can't use that. And Poison Sting is a little bit too weak. And Disable, like other moves, has a 2 to 5 turn window. We got, I think, 4 turns. And now we get to use Mega Punch again. Cool, at least those 2 hit. Yeah, we're getting really messed up here, unfortunately, in terms of RNG. Quite unfortunate indeed. But we defeat the Super Nerd. We pick the Helix fossil. Shout out to my friend Helix, first of all, but second of all because it's fastest. As you can see, the NPC moves up, and having him move up just 1 tile to get the fossil as opposed to up and then right and up again. Obviously, it's just going to save us a little bit of time, especially because NPCs that move like that move at half speed comparatively to us. So we want to make it so if we have guaranteed NPC movement, they move as little as possible. But we made it out of the cursed Mount Moon. And now we are on to Cerulean City, where I get to talk about our next kind of major exploit here, which is called Instant Text. I'll tell you a little bit about it as we're on our way over to our Pokemon Center just to heal up and things like that, and to make it for a dig base later on. But we have an exploit called Instant Text. What we're going to do after we heal at this Pokemon Center is we're actually going to go down below to the bike shop. Obviously, we do not yet have the bike voucher in order to get us a bike, but for some reason, whenever we talk to the bike shop owner when we don't have a bike voucher and clear the text boxes by mashing, it makes it so that our text no longer scrolls when it appears. It pops up instantly, which doesn't sound like it would be a lot, but it saves a lot of time in the next section where we have to fight like 10 trainers or something like that in a row. So it can make it so they're talking as well as all of their Pokemon coming on screen can be going by really fast. Now, unfortunately, the way instant text is lost is if you have to go into a menu of any kind. So if you press start, obviously that counts, but also if you're in the middle of a battle and you have to use an item or swap to a Pokemon or anything like that, it deletes the instant text. So we can lose it if we get, bad RNG and start getting, hit really hard and things like that. So hopefully we can keep it for as long as we can, but we'll have to wait and see. So this is Mr. Tiger for the second time. That's what we didn't want to see. So Mr. Tiger has this Pidgeotto. Pidgeotto has a move called Sand Attack. Sand Attack in Gen 1 lowers your accuracy by 1/3. So now my 100% accurate Horn Attack is now 66% accurate. I'm choosing not... What I could do is swap out and then swap back in, which would get rid of the accuracy discount on me. However, that would be going into a menu, which obviously would get rid of instant text. And I got so lucky. Either I got so lucky or I just didn't notice that the Sand Attack failed because we did not miss a single thing there. So either we got really lucky just now or I wasn't paying attention while I was talking and the Sand Attack missed. But that was a really good Mr. Tiger fight. So good job. We'll see Mr. Tiger again though. This is Nugget Bridge, so named because at the end of it, when we complete it, we will get a nugget. See, 85% accurate move. I've missed it 4 times now, right? I think total. Doesn't feel 85% accurate to me. All right. That's Bugcatcher. You can kind of see how quickly the text is moving. You can kind of tell how fast it goes when you have it enabled. So it's definitely worth getting. If I had to lose instant text in the rival fight that we just completed, because I had to heal or else I would die or something like that, I would have gone back and got it again. That's how useful it is. Yeah, so that is a range. And you might hear me say that at a couple points through the run. I don't know why I used Mega Punch there. That's actually not the move, but that's fine. We use Horn Attack here twice. Yeah, we call that a range. So in Pokemon, anytime you hit, there is 16 different potential values of damage you can do. Now, it isn't to say that I could do 16 different amounts of damage. Especially in the early levels, a lot of those different values are the same. So it might be, value 1 through 6 are 6 damage, 6 through 12 are I don't know, say 7 damage, and so on. So if I say that it was a bad roll or a low roll, that means I got a very particularly low value. And if I say something is at a range, that means that I could kill it if I rolled high, but if I roll low, then it wouldn't kill. And that's all that terminology means. Yep, so we, same thing with that Ekans. That Ekans was a range that we didn't hit, unfortunately. The first Pidgey that we missed the range on is actually a very favorable range, so it's pretty unlucky to miss that range. I think we got the lowest possible roll that we can get. So the bad luck streak continues. But this one was also a very favorable range as well that time we got, so that's nice. All right, and that is down with this last. Two more trainers on Nugget Bridge, and then we move on to the next route. You can, I think you can kind of see visually exactly what instant text does for us. That text really speeds things up when it pops instantly versus, just your typical scrolling. All right, Pinky's down. And one last trainer on Nugget Bridge. All right, and this trainer has an Ekans and a Zubat. And then we are done with Nugget Bridge, but we still have another whole route to go through on our way up to talk to our good friend Bill. And that is Route 25 up ahead. All right, using Horn Attack here is a range, a favorable one, but a range. But we got it. All right, so decently clean Nugget Bridge, all things considered. So not too bad. The only thing that went against us there was that we got some Mega Punch misses, which were pretty bad. But otherwise, not too bad. So here we are, Route 25. And this hiker has an Onix, which, oh man, we're a poison ground type. We don't have any ground moves, but we have Water Gun, don't forget, so bye-bye Onix. All right. This last has a Nidoran male and a Nidoran female. Nidoran male, we can Mega Punch in one shot if it hits. Nidoran female, we have to two-shot. It has a much higher defense, which is the reason why we have to do that. Very good. And 2 more trainers left on this route. Well, you can see how overpowered Nidoking is here. We're just making quick work of all of these trainers. It's perfectly the reason why this is the Pokemon to use. This hiker has 3 Geodudes and a Machop, so obviously we know what to do with the Geodudes. I typically would Mega Punch the Machop here. I'm actually going to Horn Attack it because my health is really high and I want to save some Mega Punches. Oops, or Poison Sting, I guess, which is fine. Now I'll Horn Attack it. Mega Punch would kill in 1 hit. Horn Attack would probably need 2. And now we Water Gun the Geodude. There you go. and one more trainer. And right after we finish defeating this trainer, we're actually going to lose instant text unavoidably. And that is because our Nidoking is going to level up to level 23. And at level 23, it learns a move called Thrash. When you learn a move, it's going to have a menu option of yes or no. So because that counts as a menu, quote unquote, we no longer will be able to continue with instant text, which is unfortunate because our pal Bill is a little wordy, but we need to learn Thrash as well. It's very important. It's a very, very important move that we're going to use for a good chunk of the run. We're going to teach it over Water Gun, which we don't need anymore. And that is yet another reason why Nidoking is a really great running choice. So at level 23, it learns Thrash, and Nidoking will not learn another move due to leveling up. So we don't have to, continuously choose to deny learning moves because it's not a problem with Nidoking. Alright, so this is Bill. Bill turned himself into a Pokemon by accident, but we're going to help him out. And then as a reward, he's going to give us the SS ticket so we can go on the SSN. Just something we have to do to progress the story. As you can see, Bill is very wordy. Alright, we're going to menu here. We're going to do a couple things. First, we're going to heal to... I'm actually going to heal to full just to be safe. In a PB attempt, I probably wouldn't heal to full. And then we had a rare candy that we picked up earlier that we're going to use. And then, for some weird reason, houses in Gen 1 are very strange in the way that you can dig or use an escape rope out of a lot of houses. And it doesn't really make sense. But Bill's house is one of them, which is exactly why we pick up the escape rope in Mount Moon. So we can... instead of walking all the way back, use an escape rope and teleport right back to the Pokemon Center we used last, which was, of course, in Cerulean. We go back down, we get instant text again, and we are not quite a high enough level that we want to be to take on Misty. So we are going to go a little bit out of our way. We'd have to do this anyway. But we're going to come take out this Rocket who robbed the house below. We're going to take him out first. He has a Machop and a Drowsy, both of which are ranges. The Machop is an unfavorable range. You don't get it often, but the Drowsy is a favorable range. Well, we got the Machop, so that's pretty interesting. Watch it happen the opposite. Let's see. Okay, cool. We got both ranges. I was fully ready for me to say, oh yeah, Machop is unfavorable, but Drowsy is favorable, and we get the exact opposite results, but it didn't happen. So that was a pretty quick fight. We take that out. Now we can head into Misty's gym. We do have to fight one trainer, unavoidably, unfortunately. This trainer has a Goldeen. Pretty harmless. We want to see Peck or Tail Whip. It could also use Supersonic, which could confuse us, which you don't want to see because, one, it's slow, but two, we could just take a lot of damage from hitting ourselves potentially. So hopefully we don't have to deal with it. Tail Whip is great. Perfect. All right, and now we're at Misty. Now, Misty has two Pokemon, a Staryu and a Starmie, and this is kind of speaks to specifically how tight the routing is. So we're going to fight Staryu, we're going to be level 24. At level 24, we would not be faster than Misty's Starmie, which would create a lot of problems, but because we took that small detour, we are now going to level 25 right before Starmie. And now, because of our stats, we are faster than Starmie. We got the best possible option. A lot of things can happen here, including plenty of ways that we can die. We got the best possible option, which is really good, which is Water Gun. But a few things can happen there. Misty could have used Bubble Beam, which is a much more powerful attack. A Bubble Beam has a higher crit chance as well, so it could have crit us, put us in a really precarious position, but it also has a function that Bubble Beam can also lower our speed. It doesn't always do it, but it could have. And then if it had lowered our speed even a little bit, then we would be slower than Starmie, and Starmie would kill us on the very next turn, especially since we are using Thrash. As you can see, Thrash is a multi-turn move, In Gen 1, it's actually a turn that lasts 3 or 4 turns. In later gens, it gets nerfed to 2 or 3 turns. At the end of Thrash, you are confused when it completes its cycle. We use Thrash in a way that we never have to deal with the confusion most of the time. However, if we got trolled by that Starmie, we could have potentially have taken 4 Thrashes, and we don't want to depend on that, obviously, because we might not get it, then we'd be confused, and that's going to create a hassle for us. In that fight as well, Misty could have also used an X defend on Starmie, which raises Starmie's defense, which means that we would have had to have hoped for a 4-turn Thrash or do a swap in order to swap out a Pokemon, let Starmie kill it, swap back in, so we wouldn't be confused from Thrash. It made it work. Slower option, but we would probably not die, all things considered. Got a little unlucky there, so we take a couple grass shortcuts there because just going out of the way is so slow if you want to take the non-grass path. Hidden encounter, unfortunate, still faster than walking around, so it's worth it. We have 2 unavoidable trainers here as we make our way into Vermilion City, but they are not of any consequence, so there's nothing really to say. We thrash on both. You can just see how powerful Thrash is. Thrash is, I want to say it's either 80 or 90 base power. Plus our attack being so high means it does a lot of extra damage as well. So it's just an OP move at this juncture. All right. After this, we're going to be heading to the SSN, right? And if you played this game casually as a kid or played it casually recently, you might think of the SSN as like this cool ship with all these rooms to explore with tons of items and trainers to battle. And we make real quick work of it because we don't go in any of those rooms. We go directly where we need to go and we get out. This is a speedrun after all, we got to go fast. So the only thing we have to do on the SSN in order to progress the story is fight our rival again, and then go talk to the cut master aboard so we can get the cut HM. So that's all we're gonna do. Easy as that. See, by all these rooms with all the items and different Pokemon we could see. Nope, we don't got time for it. Don't got time. Alright, so everyone say hello to Mr. Tiger again. This is the 3rd time we'll see him. He still leads with that Pidgeotto. That Pidgeotto still knows Sand Attack, so this could still give us a hard time. Hopefully we don't have to deal with it, but we'll see. Good. Alright, so the good side is that we can 2-shot this Pidgeotto now instead of 3-shot it. So as long as it doesn't use Sand Attack on its first turn, we're usually fine. Mega Punch that Eradicate. And then we thrash the Kadabra. So Kadabra and Alakazam are very interesting Pokemon in this gen. And that is for one particular reason. I kind of talked about it before, that there are moves that are physical damaging moves, and there are moves that are what they call special. Now, at every gen that's past the first gen, every Pokemon has attack, defense, speed, HP, obviously stats, and then it separates special attack and special defense. In the first gen, they don't separate special attack and special defense. There's just a general skill that's called special, and they're both lumped into the same category. Now, Kadabra, Alakazam have a very high special. They're psychic types that use special moves, so they're very not susceptible to special kinds of damage, so anything that's not physical. But their physical resistance, their regular defense, is very low. They're like a glass cannon, basically. So we can take them out with physical attacks. So anytime we encounter a Kadabra or Alakazam, that's what we'll be doing. Physical-based attacks. Say goodbye to the SSN and one of only 2 input breaks I get from my hand, so I'm going to stretch out a little bit. Ooh. Give it a little stretchy stretch. Alright. And if you're keeping tabs, by the way, I got instant text before we did that whole Misty sequence and fought that robber trainer. I still have it to this point, but we were about to lose it because we do have to do a mini shopping trip here in the mart. And then we were going to teach some things anyway on the next menu. So we would have lost it anyway. We're going to buy repels, 4 repels and 4 paralyzed heals. The paralyzed heals are mainly for safety. The repels are for later on, so we don't hit encounters when we don't want to. Pretty self-explanatory. All right, so we got a menu here. First, we need to use TM11, which is Bubble Beam, which for some reason Nidoking can learn. So we're going to teach Nidoking Bubble Beam. Goodbye, Poison Sting. Secondly, we now have the Cut HM, which we're going to teach to our Paris from before, that we caught ages ago. And we had the Dig TM, which we got from the robber trainer. So we're going to teach Paris Dig as well. Then we're going to use Cut. And I'm going to save here and reset for our final of RNG manipulations in this run. This one is a very fast one and the easiest to do, which is always nice. Oops, I messed it up. I can't believe that. Out of all of the manipulations, I messed up the by far the easiest one. Interesting. That's quite all right, though. Quick reset takes care of that. Perfect, we got him. What we are manipulating RNG-wise is actually the cans in Lieutenant Surge's gym there. Otherwise, it is a very random puzzle that could take you minutes to solve. You can find the first can that has the switch in it pretty easily. The second can has like several different options that it could be, and if you fail it, all the switches move again. So it's just very annoying to deal with, which is exactly why we manipulate it, so we know the results every time. Alright, so we take out this Voltorb quick. I actually wanted to take damage from that Voltorb. I was hoping it would use a move called Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom does a flat 20 damage. We got Tackle instead, which did like 4, so that's unfortunate. The reason why I would want to take damage here, potentially, is it sets us up for a strategy that we call Red Bar. So, if you're familiar with Pokemon, you'll know that when your Pokemon is weak, it gets into a status that it plays that like wee woo sound effect, right? In Gen 1 Pokemon games, that's actually very useful for us because for whatever reason, whenever that wee woo sound effect is going on, it will skip all Pokemon cries and level up jingles and stuff like that, and it saves us a whole bunch of time. So we actually try to exploit that as much as we can and get our Nidoking into dire straits whenever we can to make it faster for us. So I was hopeful to get into Red Bar as early as I could so we could save the optimal amount of time, but we didn't get there yet, but we can get it a little bit later. So before we head out of Vermilion, we talked to this creepy Pokemon fan club president talking about his Rapidash. He's going to give us our bike voucher so we can finally start using a bike. And for whatever reason, we can dig out of his house. Dig takes you automatically back to the last Pokemon Center you used, which ours was in Cerulean. We did not use the Pokemon Center in Vermilion at all, which is very convenient because this is where we get our bike. So that is intentional. All right, I'm gonna pause here, go into our menu, and we're actually gonna swap our bike all the way to the top so we don't have to continuously scroll to get to it. And then we're gonna teach Thunderbolt because Nidoking can learn Thunderbolt for some reason as well. Now our bike's at the top, we can use our bike right away. Paris is going to cut this bush for us. Oops. Alright, and then we have this trainer here. Now, in older strats, this trainer used to be called 4-turn Thrash Girl. In older routes, we would purposefully and hopefully land a 4-turn Thrash. She has 4 Pokemon, and she's unavoidable. Nowadays, we carry around an extra Mega Punch or 2 in hopes that we can just Mega Punch the Oddish right at the beginning and one-shot it. And then just go for a standard Thrash. However, of course, I missed the first Mega Punch, and then it paralyzed me, which is exactly a reason why we keep a Paralyze heal on us in case things like that happen. So luckily I had 1 extra, and I hit the second one, so that was good. But I do not have any more Mega Punches, unfortunately. Which is perfectly fine. We actually don't need Mega Punch for the rest of the game, actually, which is nice. We're actually going to teach over it in the next 10 minutes or so. Alrighty. Oh boy. Bike movement is very tricky in this game, in my opinion, so you'll see me stumble a little bit on bike movement and not be the absolute crispest, but we try our best. You know, we try our best. Alright, so we're gonna... this trainer has 3 Pokemon, but we're actually gonna Bubble Beam the Caterpie because the last Pokemon it has is a Venonat. It's actually arranged to die to Thrash. Pretty favorable, but we didn't want to have to depend on a 4-turn Thrash, so we just take the Caterpie out front with Bubble Beam in 1 shot, just in case the Venonat doesn't go down in 1 shot, which of course it did, so it doesn't matter. I always take it a little easy here, because if I get a little overzealous, I'll hit that trainer and I don't need to fight him, so just a waste of time. Alright, and now we are in Rock Tunnel, which is interesting, because if you play this game, you'll know that this tunnel is dark unless you use the HM Flash. We don't have the HM Flash. One, if we wanted to grab it, which is just outside of the Viridian Forest, we would actually need to have caught 10 Pokemon, I believe, and we actually don't catch 10 Pokemon the whole length of the run, so it's a waste of time for us. And second of all, to go out of the way to get it, we'd have to go to like Diglett Cave and stuff like that. We don't have time for that, so we just don't do it. And we memorize how Rock Tunnel goes on purpose, so we can avoid having to do it. I am purposely taking damage from this Slowpoke here, and so I can get put into red bar like I mentioned before. And now we got a little extra speed here in Rock Tunnel. Oops. And you might have seen as well, as soon as I entered the tunnel, I did use a repel, so I don't have a danger of hitting other Pokemon here. So the next trainer is a little bit scary. So we're actually going to save here just for safety. Just in case. Oh, I thought I was at her. Whoops. She has 2 Pokemon, Oddish and Bulbasaur. Oddish is like a decently unfavorable range to die to Thrash. And depending on what it uses, it could really mess us up. So yeah, it didn't die. Sleep Powder is not a good one. That's the worst option. We don't have anything to counteract sleep here. This is the exact reason why we save. Oh, we could actually still survive. Ugh, unfortunate. So the Bulbasaur is also a range, which is why this trainer is extra tricky. The Bulbasaur is pretty favorable, so what I needed to do there was survive the Oddish and then hopefully one-shot the Bulbasaur in order to stay alive. Of course we didn't get that. Of course the bad luck streak continues, but that's alright. That's alright. So we get a take 2 at this bad boy. Of course we got the range that time. So it doesn't matter if we miss the Bulbasaur range. Bulbasaur is not nearly as threatening as the Oddish, because the Oddish has Sleep Powder, Stun Spore, Absorb, and Poison Powder. Poison Powder is the only... Oh, you know what? I'll talk about why this happened in a second. Poison Powder doesn't affect us at all because we're a poison type, therefore we can't be poisoned. The reason why I hit an encounter here, you might be wondering, because you saw that I used a repel, and there was no text that said that the repel expired. So why did I hit an encounter? And that is because for whatever reason in Gen 1, if you save and quit, it does not save the status of your repels. So because I had to reset due to the death, I lost my repel tiles there, unfortunately. So I forgot about that, and therefore hit an encounter, which is unfortunate. Here we are. This hiker is harmless. It just has rock Pokemon. We have Bubble Beam, so easy peasy. So you can see how much quicker things move when we're in Red Bar. We skip the Pokemon jingles coming out. We can go right into our move while they're finishing it. And if we level up, we kind of skip the jingle and move right past it into the next part of the fight, which is very, very handy. Oops, I was below it. It's always better to talk to a trainer from the side as opposed to walking in front of it, because the exclamation point pop over their head. Also, if there's at a distance, they're going to walk towards you at a slow speed as well. It's just faster to avoid all that stuff. So we just tried to talk to them. Because I'm in the dark, I thought I was actually one row higher up than I was. So I walked in front of her as opposed to the side of her, but it's not a big deal. Waste like a second or two, maybe. All right, we made it out of Rock Tunnel. Huzzah. All right, so we do have to fight one trainer here on our way over to Celadon, which is this gambler. This gambler has a Growlithe and a Vulpix, not important. I actually would really like if the Vulpix used Quick Attack on us. That'd be really great. Because if not, the next level up that we occur will actually take us out of Red Bar. So hopefully we get a Quick Attack, which we didn't, but that's fine. So we're no longer in Red Bar now, unfortunately, but that's okay. All right, we do some swifty movement here, which is always fun. Just avoiding trainers as much as we can. Pick up 2 hidden items in here, which are an elixir and a nugget. And the elixir heals all your power points for all of your moves, which is obviously very important. The nugget is just so we can sell, and we'll have some extra money coming up for our biggest yet last shopping trip of the entire run. It's by far our biggest, though. Gonna buy this TM. Nope. There we go. Alright, so we buy that TM there. Buy 9 super repels. 4 super potions. And we actually, for the marathon route, buy 2 revives here, just in case we have some deaths. Alright, and that's it for this floor, but we go up 2 more floors. We stop over here. We buy a Pokédoll, which enables us to run from any Pokemon fight guaranteed. You'll see why that's important later. Then we actually go up to the rooftop, go over to this vending machine, buy a soda pop. We talk to this little girl. We give her a soda pop and she's going to give us a TM in return, and that TM is for Rock Slide, which we're going to teach our Nidoking here coming up. On our way out, we stop at the vending machine again and get fresh water. That'll be for later. And then one last person we have to talk to while we're here is the person we buy X items from. Oops, we want 7. And 2 of those. There we go. Our money is basically depleted, but we bought everything that we needed. All right. All right, so we're gonna come up here and we're going to head in this back area and we're going to talk to the person in this little house who's gonna give us the HM for fly, and that's gonna obviously open up some better transport methods for us. All right, and then we have an extended menu here that I'm just gonna focus on for a second. Rip to Mega Punch, we don't need it anymore. Teach Fly to our Spearow. And we actually fly back to Lavender Town. We did use a repel as well. So we actually have a nice sequence break going on here. And what we mean by that is if you are familiar at all with the story of Pokemon Red, you know that when you get to Celadon City there, you're meant to do this whole sequence where you go into the game corner and then there's a hidden Team Rocket base down there. You have to go through all these like, floor teleporter things and get all the way to you fighting Giovanni again for the first time rather, and defeat him, and then you get the Sylph Scope so that you can see ghosts in this tower and progress the story over here as well. However, we skip all that by doing a few things. One, we use a repel, so ghosts will not chase us out of the tower because they won't pop up. And 2, there is one unavoidable encounter, which is with the Marowak at the very end of the tower. But because we have the Pokédoll, we will use the Pokédoll to run from it, and then it will disappear. So we can avoid doing that whole entire sequence of, getting the Sylph Scope away, which saves like somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. It's that long. This was the 4th time we fought our Mr. Tiger here, but we made quick work of him this time. And then, yeah, we just have to make our way through the tower here. We do have to fight 3 channelers, and they all are going to have just Ghastlies as Pokemon. The first one has 2 Ghastlies, the second 2 have 1 each. And this is exactly why we teach Rock Slide, because Rock Slide will one-shot these Ghastlies. Rock Slide, however, is a 90% accurate move. It is not a 100% accurate. So we're going to hope that we land them, but there is no guarantee. But things are much safer for us now because we do have 2 revives. So even if things do go wildly wrong and I die again, I have revives in order to back me up, which is nice. So we defeat that channeler. We get that elixir there, which is very important. We get a hidden elixir here. So we do get quite a few elixirs on the run. And then we actually step over here onto a healing pad. That is a permanent healing pad, so it heals all of our Pokemon to full. So that's very nice. The only downside to it, obviously, is that we are no longer in that red bar state, so we don't get the wee woo action, but we are also full health, so that's nice. Alright, so we only have to, so that hit, so we only have 1 more Ghastly to worry about with our Rock Slides. We are. Hopefully it hits. Right to the Pokemon gods of RNG. If it doesn't hit, it's just waste time is all it is. It just slows it down, especially since we're at full health. But of course it hits. Very good. Very good. Okay, so that's the last of the gases we have to fight. We're gonna pick up this rare candy. We're actually already gonna teach over Rock Slide. We don't need it anymore. Oops. We're gonna teach over it with this move called Horn Drill. Now, Horn Drill is a one-hit KO move on anybody, which is very cool. So as long as it hits, it will kill the target. A couple downsides to that. One, you only have 5. So that's a downside. Hold on, let me just focus on this real quick. Swap up our repels. Use our Pokédoll. There we go. Okay, so that's obviously a downside. You can't just... We don't have like 30 of them to use or anything. But 2, it is a 50% accurate move. So it's a coin flip as to whether it's going to hit or not. Okay? But we cheat the odds in our favor a little bit, let's say. You might have remembered before in our extended shopping trip, I went to a seller of X items, and I bought several of an item called X Accuracy. Now, in later gens, this just improves the accuracy by a specific amount, by, you know, a percentage amount. In Generation 1, X Accuracy will make it so that your accuracy is 100%. No matter what move you use, it will hit. And that also ignores the Gen 1 miss thing that I mentioned before, the 1 in 256 chance. So it avoids that as well. As you can imagine, we will often do the combination of X Accuracy and Horn Drill in order to completely one-shot entire teams of Pokemon at points. We're actually going to get our first instance of the X Accuracy Horn Drill combo here with this trainer because it's the fastest option. Go into my inventory. I shifted up my X Accuracy earlier so I don't have to scroll into my menu to get it. And then now I Horn Drill. It's a 100% accurate move. That one-hit KOs everything. Pretty broken, if I do say so myself. Alright, Boom Shakalaka, that one's done. We have one more trainer here in the Lavender Tower. But all the scary stuff of Lavender Tower is over. Nothing that can really affect us here with this trainer. And then we talk to Mr. Fuji at the end, who will give us our Pokeflute so we can get by that sleeping Snorlax that's bothering us in the distance. We actually haven't even seen it yet, but it's there and it's in our way, so we got to get by it. So we're actually going to Thunderbolt this Rattata, and then we're going to use Thrash on the Raticate next. And that is because Raticate has a very small chance to not die in one hit to Thrash. So we don't want to have to depend on a 4-turn Thrash if it came to that. So we just make it so that at the very most, we would have to depend on a 3-turn Thrash. That's the only thing of note here. All right, made quick work of those rockets. All right, we get to talk to Mr. Fuji, who's going to give us the Pokeflute. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fly back to Celadon, and we're actually going to use the Pokemon Center here, not because we're particularly weak or low health or anything. It actually is just going to establish this as a dig base for us. Because we're not going to use any other Pokemon centers in other towns. This is kind of our centralized point here. We don't have to worry about it. Okay. So now, next, we are actually going to head on over to Saffron City here. And we're going to do another key story point, which is going into Silphco. And progressing the story that way. we're going out of order, the intended order of events in the Pokemon game here. But trust me when I say we're gonna get all the badges done. Don't worry. We're just taking out all of the longer story beats first, and then you'll see towards the end we're gonna kind of boss rush quite a few of the Pokemon gyms. It's gonna be kind of an entertaining ride. But first we got to get through Silphco here. We're gonna pick up this hidden elixir. If you've played this game as a kid, like I did, this is a very expansive place. It's got like, I think 11 floors with all kinds of trainers, all kinds of items, all kinds of things to do. And we avoid pretty much all of it. We don't need it really. We have to fight this trainer to get by, to get a very important item that we need. We actually want him to do some damage to us, so that's great to get Bite there. Right, so we're gonna take this warp pad, take it immediately again to go back, so we can walk on by, come over here and grab the card key. And that is just gonna enable us to get through these little gates here. And take this warp pad, and we're just taking the fastest possible route that we can get to the end of this thing. So another warp pad, and we're actually gonna get to fight Mr. Tiger again for the, was it 5th time now? You might have noticed there I walked up one tile and then over, and our rival kind of met us there. And that is because after this fight he's gonna go over and take that same warp tile that I took. If I had just walked straight to the left, he'd have to walk around me to get to it. But because I walked up one tile, he can walk straight there, which is just a small optimization. Very good. So we're gonna use 2 X items on this fight. X accuracy and then an X speed. We did get Sand Tag, which lowers our accuracy, but because we used an X accuracy, nothing is gonna take away our accuracy here. So that's very good. And then with Mr. Tiger, we just horn attack straight through his entire party. Because we use an X speed, we ensure, and you can kind of tell that a lot of his Pokemon are same level as us or higher. So there's a good shot we would get outspeeded, but because I used an X speed, we're going to outspeed everything on his team. So we'll always get our one-shot attack off first. And just make short work of everything. Voila. That's Mr. Tiger number 5. All right. So now I'm going to go into my inventory and use an ether here, and I'm going to use it on Horn Drill. Ether is very similar to an elixir, except it restores the power points of just one move. So I used the ether on the Horn Drill because it's the only move I needed to replenish anyway. So now my Horn Drill power points are back up to full, which is very important. All right, we're actually going to use an X accuracy here. I really wanted this Cubone to use Bone Club, but we didn't get so lucky. So that's just because we want to take a bit more damage. But we did use the X accuracy here, and now we're just going to Horn Drill the Drowsy and the Marowak. Make easy work. All right. And now we get to fight Giovanni for the second time for the first time. I say that because you see there he says, hey, so we meet again. But we have never met Giovanni, but that is because we were meant to fight him once in the game corner, but we skipped that whole sequence, so we don't fight him. But he says we meet again, whatever you say. Same idea here. We're gonna X accuracy. Good that we got attack there. It's actually really good. And then we're gonna Horn Drill. We only have 3 horn drills left, and Giovanni has 4 Pokemon, but that's perfectly fine because one of the Pokemon he has is Rhyhorn, and we're just gonna Bubble Beam that. It'll die one shot. Not a problem. Voila, that's Giovanni. That's Giovanni 2, but technically Giovanni 1. Alright, there we are. Now, that little president of Silphco up at the top there, he does give you the Master Ball, which is a very cool item, but is an item we need. So we're just gonna leave him there. Don't need to talk to him. But we're not quite done in Silphco yet. Now that we've defeated, Giovanni, all of the rockets are gone, which is great. So they're not gonna be a hassle for us. We're gonna take the elevator over to floor 10 because there's 2 items we want to grab here before we head out. And that is a rare candy, which is obviously cool because it levels us up. But we also get this TM here, TM26, which is for Earthquake. And for some reason, you can dig out of Silphco, so we don't need to walk all the way back. We're gonna dig, and we're gonna go right to Celadon again. Saving all that time. Now we get to deal with our big boy Snorlax. We're gonna rotate our rare candies up, since we have to scroll down anyway to the Pokeflute. We did use a Super Repel because we're gonna go very briefly into grass here on the Cycling Road to get a hidden item. Fortunately, we don't have a need for Snorlax, so we're just gonna do the fast thing and run. Bye, Snorlax. Alright, so here's the grass we're gonna go into. Oops, I missed it. There we go, got it that time. And we just get that hidden rare candy. A little tricky because I don't control, on Cycling Road, I don't control the inputs. I'm hands-free right now. So, because it's like, it acts as like a downhill thing. So it's pretty easy to fly right by the hidden tile there, which I did, but I made a quick adjustment and got it back the second time. There we go. Now we have control of the bike again. Alright, gonna menu here. I'm gonna rotate up our specials as well and use that TM for Earthquake that we collected earlier. Teach it to our Nidoking. So we're almost at the final move set that we're going to use for Nidoking, but not quite. There's one more move we're going to teach him. And we're going to be getting rid of Bubble Beam to do it. So 3 moves that we're going to be using on our good boy Nidoking here is Horn Drill, which makes sense. He's got a horn. Thunderbolt, that doesn't add up, and Earthquake, which adds up. You know, he's a ground type, so at least it makes sense that he knows the move Earthquake. It kind of makes sense. We are entered into the Savari Zone here, and we're doing the counterproductive thing, which is to use a Repel. Most people come to the Safari Zone to catch Pokemon, right? But we don't need to catch anything. We just need to get to the end to get some key items. One of my favorite parts of the run because it's just very chill, just a nice bike ride. Don't have to really worry about anything. Right, down we go. That's one of the key items we need. The second one is in this house, which is the very end of the Safari Zone, which is the HM for Surf. All right, we just exit, and of course we can just dig out of the Safari Zone, because why not? That one makes even less sense because we're not even indoors, so. All right, we use another Pokemon move here to fly back to Fuchsia City. And then we just do a quick bike on over to finally a gym. You might be wondering, my estimate is 2 hours and 5 minutes for this game. We are at currently around 1 hour 23 minutes, 1 hour 24 minutes. I only have 3 gym badges. So how does this add up? I gotta get 8 badges and defeat the Elite Four? How's this gonna work? But trust me, we're gonna get it done. Also, as like I had mentioned, we're taking things a little bit out of order. The 4th gym that we're meant to do is Erica in the Celadon gym, but we're gonna come back to Erica in a little bit. We're gonna do Koga first. So we're getting the 5th gym 4th, basically. 5th gym badge 4th. This trainer has absolutely nothing that it can ruin us. The only thing that would be bad is if we Gen 1 missed here. But that's out of our control. So there we go. The next trainer where we fight is another juggler that we can't avoid. And that one is a bit more scary. He has a Drowsy and a Hypno. The Drowsy's not scary at all. The Hypno can be, at our current health, if it uses Confusion, I believe Confusion could kill me, but it has 3 other moves it could use, so I mean we can't one-shot it, unfortunately. Unless we get a crit. We could one-shot it with a crit, but we'll see if we get that lucky. So here's the Hypno. Nope, didn't get a crit. We did get Confusion. Cool, we're still alive. So we got bad luck, but it actually ended up being good luck because now we're in red bar, so the Koga fight's gonna go a little bit faster. Now usually I do a shtick on Koga because we take an intentional death here at the end. I usually try to play it off like, oh no, I made a mistake and I died, oh, blah, blah, blah. But I don't have a commentator to play off with right now, so I'm just going to tell you his last wheezing, we're actually going to take an intentional death. 1, because it's faster, and 2, it's going to set up red bar for basically the rest of the, a good rest of the run, basically. Not all the way to the end, but very, very close to the end. So on the wheezing here, we're actually going to stall on purpose and use an elixir, so our PP is restored. And wheezing is very, very likely to use self-destruct, which will kill him in 1 shot, and the reason why we kept our health so low. You're going to see this as well. So after every gym battle, pretty standard in Pokemon, we would be getting a TM from the gym leader, but our bag is full and we are very meticulous with our bag storage here because it's actually a lot slower to have to take a TM from a gym trainer. So we're very particular about our bag storage so that we don't have to take gym TMs after Surge, basically. We don't take any. Alright, so we use our rare candies there. And rare candies level you up, of course. Part of leveling up is that your health increases. But when your health increases, you also gain your health for the amount that your health has just increased. So it actually revives us, which is an interesting side effect. So we used 3 rare candies, up Nidoking 3 levels, but now we have, I think it's 10 health. So we're back alive. We return home here, so that we can make our way down to Cinnabar Island finally. Whoops. First we're going to repel, so the water doesn't annoy us, but of course we need a way to surf, which we're going to teach our good boy Squirtle surf, so we can make that work. And now if you're like me, you might think, oh man, when I was going to Cinnabar Island, I couldn't find the place. It felt like it was in the middle of the ocean. There's all these trainers, there's all these islands. How do you get there? The easiest way is to go to Pallet Town, go directly down and only go left one tile, and you'll just get there. You'll see it shortly. It's pretty uneventful. You don't encounter any trainers, and if you use a repel, you don't see any wild Pokemon. Voila, we're here. Easy as that. Alright, and we enter this Pokemon Mansion the pretty much exclusive reason that we oops, wrong way. The way that we enter it is because we have to get a special key here in order to enter Blaine's gym. So we just have to get to the end to get that key. We do pick up a couple of very important items in the process, though, that are very useful to us. As you can see, our repel is usually precise, and we don't usually encounter that text, but because I wasted a tile on movement, it ran out one tile early, but that's okay. So we're going to teach Strength to Squirtle as well, and we just picked up a TM, which is a TM for Blizzard, that we're going to teach to Nidoking, because Nidoking can learn Blizzard for some reason. And now we have our final moveset for Nidoking. Nidoking is not going to learn another move. We're going to use our last of the repel. Oops, jeez. Forgot to do the switch too. I'm wasting all kinds of repel tiles. Yeah, so now we don't have any more repels. We only have super repels left, so that's good. Hit that switch, and we're going to pick up one more item here, which is actually this rare candy. That'll be important for later, and we're going to run out of repel tiles again pretty early. Hopefully we don't hit an encounter. Good, we didn't. And of course, for whatever reason, we can dig out of this tunnel. So that's the last bit of like story, quote unquote, that we have to do. Now we're going to be on a gym boss rush. So we're going to start with Erica here. Oops. Forgot we were already on Paris there. There we go. We're going to start with Erica. Erica is a cakewalk. The only thing that can go wrong with Erica is that we're going to use Blizzard on both one trainer that we can't avoid before Erica and then on Erica herself. Luckily for us, in Gen 1, Blizzard is, I believe, it's a 90 or 95% accurate. In later gens, it gets nerfed quite a bit to like 60 or 70% accurate. Something like that. But there is still the small chance that Blizzard will miss. The first time we use it is here. Luckily it hit. And then the second time we use it is during Erica's fight on her Tangela. So hopefully it will land. But other than that, there's nothing really noteworthy about Erica at all in terms of the battle. The only important thing is obviously is that because we use the rare candies to kind of revive ourselves, our health is very low. We're just going to be in red bar for all these bosses just to make it that much easier for us and that much faster, I should say. Alright, luckily we didn't get a Blizzard miss, no Gen 1 misses, so pretty easy Erica. Alright, so let's make our way out of this gym. And then the next gym we're actually going to do is the Cinnabar Island gym, so Blaine's gym. So if you're trying to figure out the order in which we did the badges, it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 7. Then we're going to do 6 and then 8 as the end. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 7, 6, 8. The gimmicky part of Blaine's gym is that you have to answer a quiz question for every room, or else you'll have to fight a random trainer. Unfortunately, we get the long spiel every quiz box we hit. And then we just have to answer the questions. Obviously, those are still faster than fighting trainers, which we don't need to do. It may look like I'm answering yes for every question here as well. I'm actually not. If you press B on the yes or no, it'll answer no for you. So I'm pressing B when I'm meant to answer no, and A when I'm meant to answer yes. That's all I'm doing. The true answers are yes, no, 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 yes, no for all 7, if you're ever curious. Or that's 6, right? Yeah, I miscounted 6, but that's the answers. Yes, no, 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 yes, no. There we go, that's all the quiz boxes. Finally get to fight our pal Blaine. Blaine is absolutely and completely free. The only thing that can get ruined here is if I make a mistake in my inputs. Blaine cannot touch us. And I'll explain why. First, we're gonna use an X accuracy here. And we are abusing something that we call smart AI, which sounds a little contradictory, but hear me out. Gym leaders, our rival, trainers of importance basically have what we call in the game smart AI. And what smart AI means is that whenever the Pokemon has a move that is of a type that would be super effective against our Pokemon, it will use it 100% of the time. And that is because obviously it's a smart AI, so it wants to kill your Pokemon as fast as possible. Psychic is super effective against our poison ground type person here. So Pokemon, if they know a psychic type move, will constantly spam it. The way we abuse this is that there are certain Pokemon that know the move Agility. Agility is a psychic type move. It doesn't do any damage, but it is still a psychic type move. Therefore, the AI thinks, oh, psychic is super effective against poison ground here, where let's continuously spam it. That's smart because it's the type advantage, but it's not smart because that's not going to kill us. You're just going to keep increasing your speed forever and ever and ever and ever. So we abuse that by setting up on Pokemon that would continuously use agility a lot, like that Growlithe out front. So all we need to do is use our X accuracy. We know we're not going to die to it because of the smart AI. And then we horn drill the rest. That's it. And there's gonna be some smart AI abuses in the later parts of the run here. Sabrina is perfectly straightforward. The only thing of note is she has 4 Pokemon. We're gonna Earthquake them all. We're gonna level up here after this Mr. Mime. And that makes it so our speed is exactly 1 point higher than her Alakazam. So that is very important. That is one of the main reasons why we take the badges in this particular order. Is because we want to outspeed the Alakazam, otherwise it is going to ruin us. But because we outspeed it, it doesn't get the chance to. We just take it out in 1 hit. And there you go. Now, if you're counting along at home, at the 123 or 124 mark, we have 3 badges. We are now at the 137 mark, and we have 7 badges. So I told you we'd get there. All right, and then we just have to head on over to Viridian City for our last badge, the 8th badge, which is against Giovanni. Oops, overshot. There we go. Alrighty. So we do have to fight 2 trainers in Giovanni's gym. They're unavoidable, unfortunately. And there is not this trainer. This trainer just has a Rhyhorn, and we just Earthquake it, and it's done. The next trainer we fight is actually the scariest trainer in this gym, counting Giovanni. Giovanni is not scary at all. This next trainer has a Machoke, a Machop, and a Machoke. We need, in order to defeat them as fast as we possibly can, we need to do an X accuracy. We're not resetting, whoops. So we need to do X-Ack. And then Horn Drill, do a combination of Horn Drills and Blizzards to defeat the rest. If the Machoke uses Karate Chop and it crits, which Karate Chop has a very high crit percent, then we're gonna die. So hopefully it doesn't, but it has all kinds of other moves it can use. Of course we got Karate Chop, of course it crit, and of course we're dead. We just cannot catch a break in this run. Everything bad that's happening could happen. You might be wondering, well, I have the revives, right? So why am I worrying about saving and dying here? It shouldn't be a big deal. But it's much better to be able to keep red bar. So it's actually still faster for me to reset here and try this again and keep red bar than it would be for me to revive and not have red bar anymore. We actually would still lose more time doing that. So it's worth just making sure we get by this fight. Again. Oh, it didn't crit this time, so that's good. Our health is super low though, but it didn't crit, so that's nice. I was ready to reset, but we don't have to. The crit chance on that Karate Chop is ridiculous. I think it's more likely to crit than not crit, which is how ridiculous that crit chance is. So the fact that we didn't get crit the second time is pretty lucky. Alright, so we fight those two trainers. And we actually have to walk out and walk back into the gym again because it's going to reset their position on the map and make it so that we can get by to Giovanni. We're going to go ahead and use an elixir here first, though. You might have noticed there as well, I moved up one tile, then I used my menu. And that is because it is better to use your menu on a tile in which you would turn, because turning costs 1 frame. But if you menu on that frame and then turn, you don't have a turn frame. So you save a frame every time you do it that way. That's all. But with how often we have to menu in the game, you can save some frames there. It's worth doing. So we have Giovanni here. Giovanni is absolutely free as well. We Earthquake all of his Pokemon besides his last Pokemon, which is a Rhydon. We Blizzard Rhydon instead. But yeah, we just Earthquake everything until it dies. And then now at the Rhydon, we Blizzard. There's a chance it dies in one shot, but it's likely to not die in one shot, so we usually have to Blizzard it twice. Not a big deal, though. But if it crits or we get a high roll, then we would have one shot it. But we didn't get so lucky. Alright, so we now have all of our gym badges, which means we can make our way over to the Elite Four and Victory Road and get on with the end game portion of this run, which is exciting stuff. We're actually going to use Super Repel here before we get on the bike, and that is because we are just going into a small patch of grass up here. This area should look familiar, as that is where we caught our Nidoran, where we started our journey, and now we're going to finish it near here as well. We get to fight Mr. Tiger for a 6th time, so fun stuff. This fight can go sideways a bit. It can, but it is not likely. We're actually going to use an X accuracy here. We don't need to use an X accuracy here. The reason why I choose to is because we're actually going to end the fight by Blizzarding the Venusaur. And because Blizzard is a 95% accurate move, I just choose to X accuracy there just to make sure it hits. Because the Venusaur is the only thing that can really give us problems in this fight. Everything else is fine. We use an X special to bump up our special attack power, so that takes out that Gyarados with that Thunderbolt there, for example. We actually are going to X special a second time to make sure that our Blizzard will take out the Venusaur, so we're actually double X special right now. Again, Alakazam is just a glass cannon, so we just Earthquake it to death. Alright, and then Venusaur. Even double X specialed and guaranteed to hit, this Venusaur might not die, and it didn't. Vine Whip is not what we wanted to see, because now we're dead. We are getting the worst luck that we could get. But this is why we get revives for things like this, so... I can't believe that. I just can't believe how much has gone wrong here. That is so unlikely to happen. I can't emphasize how unlikely that is to happen. You have to crit or get like your lowest possible roll, basically. And then even so, there's a chance that we could survive it if it uses Razor Leaf instead of Vine Whip. But, of course we didn't get that lucky. But we finally got by it. That was a little bit of trouble that I was alluding to, but here we are. Mr. Tiger defeated again. Now we're getting ready to get into Victory Road here. We unfortunately have to stop 8 different times so they can check that we got all of the required badges. Unavoidable, I'm afraid. Oops. Let's surf across here on our boy Squirtle. Alright, and then we're going to ground here. Going to use a Super Repel and a Bicycle. One, because we go through some grass here, obviously, but also it carries into when we actually get into the caves of Victory Road as well. We go through like the first screen, basically. With this same repel, so that's useful. Alright, so we are now in the depths of Victory Road here, and if I do everything correctly, we actually don't fight any random, we don't fight any trainers here. And obviously because we use a repel, we don't fight any random Pokemon as well. Now if I move, I could run into some trainers by accident, so hopefully we don't do that, because that would be embarrassing, but we're going to try our very best. And then all we got to do in Victory Road basically is solve these various boulder puzzles. I actually take it very careful to make sure I avoid those extra trainers that we don't need to hit. Alright, strength. Now, oops, I already ruined it. So, this second repel here that we use is very precise. I have to nail my movement exactly because my repel will run out to the tile that we need to use the next one. I unfortunately already messed it up, so we're a couple tiles short already. We'll see just how short we get, because there's still a lot of opportunity to mess it up in other places as well. So we'll see. But right now I'm only like 2 tiles short. So I would actually risk it and like go over 2 unrepelled tiles, hopefully not hit an encounter. So we'll see how close I get. And if I don't get close enough, I'm just gonna have to take an extra menu and use a repel a little early. It wastes about 3 seconds, but hopefully we don't have to do that. All right, just moving these boulders around. Oh, no, that's an extra 2 tiles, so we're 4 tiles off if I've counted correctly. Yeah, that's too much of a risk. I'm not gonna do that. I thought about it, but nah, I can't do it. We'd have to go that whole length and hopefully not hit an encounter. Not worth it. All right, and then we got our last boulder shift here. There's actually a neat little visual glitch here I can get, maybe. Let me try it. Oh, there we go. I got it right there. You saw that the boulder still moved left as I turned my character upwards. We call that swag boulder. It actually loses 2 frames to do it that way, but it's just a nifty little swag trick that I always like to show off in marathons. Oops. Go. So typically in a world record or PB run, we'd actually deposit 2 of our Pokemon and just keep our Nidoking and our bird. But because, oops, I don't need to do anything here. Because we're playing it a little bit marathon safe, I'm actually going to keep all of my Pokemon here, because if I need to use them for a revive going forward, as like a revive buffer. Typically, we go all the way through Bruno with having red bar. But because I had to use a revive... What is going on? I'm having a little controller malfunction there, apologies. My D-pad would not go over to the right for whatever reason. But that's not a big deal, if that is the case. So we purposely swapped to Spearow there, our bird Pokemon, because we're actually manipulating the smart AI again. If we swap to our bird Pokemon, Lorelei actually cheats a little bit and changes her move to be Aurora Beam, because Aurora Beam is an ice type move which is super effective against flying types. However, when you use Aurora Beam, when her Dugong uses Aurora Beam, it will automatically use Rest the next turn. That is just how the AI is set up. So we let her kill the bird, then we know the next turn she's going to use Rest, so that's when we set up our X accuracy, and then we just horn drill her whole team. She's just got one more Pokemon, a Lapras here. There you go, that's Lorelei. So, just a few more members of the Elite Four left here. All we gotta do here is use our Elixir, and then we can fight Bruno. Bruno is probably one of the easiest of the Elite Four, pretty free. Definitely free, considering our health is higher than it normally is at this juncture. Bruno does have a 2% chance to kill us at our normal health. But it is so, yeah, I mean, as you can tell by 2%, it's so unlikely. What would have to happen is that we would use our X accuracy there. The Onix would have to choose the move Slam, which is 1 in 5 to do. So 20% chances to choose a Slam to begin with. Then Slam has to hit, which is not a 100% accurate move. And then when Slam hits, it would have to crit. And if it crits, then it would have killed us. So yeah, all those factors added up makes it 2% to happen. All right, and we actually use Blizzard on the Onyxes instead of Horn Drill because if we used Horn Drill, which we could have, we have the PP for it, but if we had used Horn Drill, we'd get 2 text boxes there, one that says it's not very effective, and the second one says 1-hit KO. But if we use Blizzard, we only get 1 text box and it says it's super effective. So it's faster to Blizzard. And that's Bruno. Alright, so now we got our next member of the Elite Four, Agatha here. We're going to use a rare candy here, and typically we'd actually heal here, but because my health is high, I don't need to. So we save a potion, which is nice. Alright, so now she has Gengars here. She's got a whole bunch of different types here. We're going to use an X Special. Nightshade is perfectly fine here, that's fine. Alright, so now we're going to Earthquake. The next Pokemon she's going to throw out is not Gengar, Golbat. For 1, look at this Golbat sprite, it's terrifyingly ugly. 2, We need this blizzard to hit, which it does. If this blizzard didn't hit, Golbat could use a move called Haze, which would remove the effects, all status changing effects, basically. So it would remove that X special that I used. But there's also a hidden stat boost that are applied to us called badge boosts. Every time we defeat a gym leader, we get a boost to a particular stat to our Pokemon. And it would also remove those stats. So it would not only make us weaker, but it would make us slower than this Gengar upcoming here, which is very dangerous. Luckily, we didn't have to deal with that, so we just one-shot everything, basically. Alright, and that's Agatha. Alright, gonna do two things here. An elixir, and then we're going to super potion. Do we have to? We definitely have to super potion twice. Yeah, we have enough. Never mind. Perfect. Okay. I'm actually doing something just a tad risky, but not really, which is I'm not going to save for Lance here. Because we have a revive, I think I'm in pretty good hands. Even if I die, it should be fine. But I shouldn't die. The only way I'm going to die here... Oh, it's not a factor at all. I was going to say the only way I would die here is if Hydro Pump lands, which it didn't even land, so it doesn't matter. And the second way would be that the Hydro Pump would have to crit for me to die. Even if the Hydro Pump had landed, I wouldn't have died unless it crit. So we're a tiny risk worth going for, but even if I had died, it would have been fine because I have the revive left. So we use an X speed here in order to outspeed the rest of Lance's party. But, and we know we can do it on the Dragonair because the Dragonair has agility, and we manipulate the Smart AI again. Then we Thunderbolt the Aerodactyl. And then finally the Dragonite, and that is Lance. And that means we only have one more trainer to fight in this whole run. Well, just one more. Can you guess who it is? I think you can. It's Mr. Tiger. One last time for all the marbles. Now, our health is really good, so this fight is pretty much free. Actually, I think it is free. I think it's just free. I can't think of anything that would really ruin it. Truthfully. Even the most risky thing that it could happen is that his Pidgeot here is going to it could use Sky Attack turn 1, but even if it does that, we have a counter. So, we're going to X Special. Perfectly fine. We're going to X Accuracy. Perfectly fine. And then, yep, we're home free now. For some reason as well, this final fight, even though we have battle animations turned off, they return to the game for some reason. No explanation as to why, but they just do. So we get to see all the battle animations that we normally wouldn't see in the speedrun. But we have 5 Horn Drills, but he has 6 Pokemon. And that's exactly the reason why we X Special as well. And that is because we're going to Thunderbolt his Gyarados instead of Horn Drilling it. And then because we X Special, they will die. Voila, and then we have 2 Horn Drills for his 2 remaining Pokemon, and that is it. Now, time does not end when we defeat our rival here for the last time. It is not until the very end of our Hall of Fame sequence. So we still got a little bit of time after this fight. Well, that's it. Okay, Well, all there is dialogue here. So what I'll say is I'll just kind of do my my outro and stuff here. Thank you so much to SpeedConline for having me. This event's my first SpeedCon, so I'm very happy to do it. Obviously, them being based in Europe, I'm actually based in the United States. So it wasn't an opportunity that I would be able to do normally because I can't just travel to Europe regularly, unfortunately. But I was very happy to be accepted into the event and to be a part of raising money for that, for such an awesome cause. So thank you so much for having me. Just wanted to give a special shout out to all the people from my stream who might be watching or have supported me as well. Thank you so much. If you're interested, like I mentioned, my name's Conception2, so you can follow me on Twitch or subscribe if you'd like as well. Time is coming up very soon. I will let you know, though. We have to go through our extended Hall of Fame sequence here. This is exactly why we would deposit Pokemon instead, because instead of going through 4 Pokemon for Hall of Fame, we'd only go through 2 typically. But because of the revives, we need to save them in case we needed to swap out. Alright, time's coming up very soon. And time.
GG.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and yeah, I pretty much said all of my thank yous. Thank you to Tiny Tim here as well for being an excellent host. Thank you to everyone, the staff, the tech crew, everyone behind the event and getting us set up and making it a smooth operation. So I really appreciate you all having me. Yeah, and that's about all I have to say.
Okay, very quickly then, we'll be moving on to the next one very shortly, which is going to be Grimm's Hollow. I must say a massive thank you to Conception2. Absolutely fantastic run. Really enjoyed that. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you again in the future. So stay with us, folks. We're going to be on to a quick intermission, and then we're going to be back with Grimm's Hollow coming up.